And the Film Doctor.
Cheers to 100, Michael. Hey.
Oh my god.
The film.
He reeled in.
Whew, feels so good to be on this 100th episode. Michael.
It is.
Film Addict has come a long way.
100 episodes of Film Addict.
Thanks to me.
It's not really thanks to you. It's thanks to me.
Thanks to me, Film Addict has come such a long way. So excited for episode 100. Welcome back to the Addict, ladies and gentlemen. No more HR version. We just gonna be us. We just gonna do us.
We are, and this is a new version of Film Addict. So you already saw the new intro. You're gonna see a lot of new stuff. We are jumping right into it. What movie are we doing? Tell them about it.
Scream! 2022. Who coming to us from theaters? We went to go see this in the theaters.
We did, and he was begrudging to it. So, without further ado, let me jump right into. Let's jump right into our film review. So, I don't have that. We just have the rating, so somehow it didn't go through. So, let's just jump right into it.
Film review, yeah.
So, looking at Scream, what was your thoughts on it?
Okay, so my thoughts on Scream. Let me start off by saying, yes, I was begrudging about watching this film. Michael did have to drag me to the theaters for this. You know, when he brought it up to me, he was kind of like, oh, let's do Scream for our 100th episode. I'm like, do you really want to do that? Like, are the people really going to be excited about the 6th version of Scream? I don't think they are, Michael. And so we got to the theaters and we watched it, and I was pleasantly surprised in a good way. Now, I will say this is not the best horror movie I've watched, putting it in the horror genre.
But it wasn't terrible.
Thriller genre. But it wasn't terrible.
It was. If you had to put it up against like every other Scream movie, I would say that it was better than like Scream 2, 3. This is what, the 6th one?
6.
So then let's say 2 through 5.
Well, I can agree with that. So let's take it down the list. Cinematography, right?
Okay.
Cinematography wise, was there anything that like stood out to you that you were like, oh my god, this is such a great shot?
As movies progress in general in time, they get better and better in terms of the way that they look. So I feel like this looked better than the originals, you know, because technology is up their ante, you know, HD, high definition quality, I think, was there. I think that I was a little bit more scared when I saw the Ghostface on screen versus like Inside the Past. But I can't say that there's anything that screamed out, pun intended, that screamed out to me in terms of this movie. They still had their jump scares in there, and so they used the camera to move around to kind of initiate that. But other than that, no, I can't say anything screamed out to me.
Wow, okay. As far as cinematography goes for me, I don't think that there was anything that was amazing. I don't think there was a camera shot that I remember from my mind where I was like, oh my god, you know, this is innovative, this is new, this is something that is fantastic. I mean, it's a horror movie, it has to do what it has to do, right? There are certain things that you gotta have, ways you have to position the camera, things you have to do with the camera in a horror movie. You know, they can't really, well, I won't say they can't, somebody will probably find a way. But for now, they're not really gonna, especially in this type of movie, move away from that. So cinematography kind of was what it was to me. Music, let's talk about music.
Nothing special about the music. It's normal music. And by the way, just to let you know, on this episode 100, we're live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, everything. So check us out.
No excuses for you not.
No. And before we continue, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to push subscribe. We need those subscriptions. We need them like a crackhead needs cocaine.
Yes, please.
We need it like a fat kid wants cake.
Yeah, please.
We need it like a stripper needs.
You can say
like she needs dick. Okay, yes, we said it. Gone. It's no more HR. We can say it. We can do it. So we are live everywhere. There are cameras everywhere pointed at us. Episode 100. I just wanted to cut in and kind of talk about that. So what was your thing about Scream? Lost track.
So yeah, music wise, I would agree with you. I don't think there's anything special going on music wise. It's kind of the same music. And if you're watching too, get in the comment section too. Tell us. We want to interact with you guys.
Did you see Scream? If you saw Scream, let us know, because before we give our ratings, some of these things in terms of music, like you said, it was nothing special to it. It was just generic music.
Right.
When I look at like Jordan Peele movies, like his music like really has you feel
and
something.
And he does some innovative stuff with music. Like he takes songs and they flip them around. They do some really innovative things with music. That didn't happen.
But that wasn't the case. No. I mean, it was just very general.
Yeah.
Acting? Nah.
There's no Oscar.
It's hard for me to say that this movie was actually good and worth seeing when we're saying that there's nothing good about cinematography, there's nothing good about music, there's nothing good about the acting. Mm-hmm. I mean, what would you give this movie as a rating? Because it was a good movie.
Let's talk about the story first, because I think that is kind of where I think our ratings are kind of leaning on is the story.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was going to give the rating and then explain why we would have that, and that would probably lead us to the story, because I think that was the leading point.
Where I think when we were talking before, we had a little bit of divergence. I think we're kind of in agreement, but there's a little bit of divergence in the story. So just from like my perspective on the story, I enjoyed the pokes that they had towards Hollywood in this film. Okay. I did enjoy that. As far as the story, was it something that really blew me away? No, it was not. It wasn't. It's a nice take on, like, if they were gonna make a Scream movie, this is a story they should have to make fun.
See, you liked that. To me, it was just like, it was the same storyline for this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love horror movies, but I think that horror movies in general, they just don't do a good fucking job at making you scared. You know, they're all filled with jump scares and everything else that it just doesn't really pull you in. And so the story, I think, would have been that selling point. And whereas it was kind of the same story as you would see, like the Scream guy's there and he's coming after their friends, blah, 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 which they really just played on. It's almost like seeing the same story of Scream 1 through 5 on this one.
Yeah.
So what made this one still good in terms of story to me, it was something that kind of brought all of the characters from the past together. It was a way to close the story. It was a way to connect all the dots. It was a way, versus like some of the other ones, you didn't have what's the girl's name, the main character from the first one? It's Sydney. They brought her back. They brought back the officer. They brought back the reporter. They had all of them inside of this kind of connected story of originals that still had a part to play from the originals, whether you saw them or not. So that, I think that was what was something that brought me in, because I was able to follow that story. It wasn't like they were starting something new or continuing on with new characters. They kind of were connecting all the dots.
Yeah, and I guess like the thing that really helped me push, and we'll say
Penelope
in a second.
Sorry, I was looking at since we're live here on Twitch. What are we? Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. There's one more.
YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing.
Shout out to everybody who's watching. Greca Vision.
I'm reading a lot of people. No, it wasn't Penelope. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, just like that's the digs at Hollywood, I think, is what really kind of helped the story for me. Like, I think that's why I value it a little bit more. Because if they didn't have that, then I don't know that I would have been like, oh my god, this was better than what I had it rated. I will ask you this: Do you think that if they didn't bring those characters, old school characters back,
I think it would have sucked, because no one would give a fuck about these newer people. It's like, hey, let's see these newer people and evolve this story, where this was more like a closing of that era, and if not a closing of that era, and at least to start a new era with these newer people.
Yeah. So I mean, just gonna go ahead and give my rating. I'm gonna say C+.
C+? I thought we talked about this.
I was hedging on a B-, but you really convinced me to actually bring my grade down.
Okay. What I think should not impact you. I'm still gonna go with B-. Like I don't know if you can give a grade in between B- and C+, but I would give it if there was. But I'm gonna go with B- just because I think that it was a good ending to the story, and that I would have definitely went in like C- if they didn't have some of those original characters. It's not to say that it was a good movie, because I can't compare it to anything. I mean, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix coming out in a couple weeks. I think that's going to be more terrifying. I didn't jump at this movie. I wasn't terrified. I saw a lot of certain things coming. It was what it was, but it was still entertaining to watch. So to me, B-.
So let me ask you this. This is another thing I'll ask you, right? So like when we give these ratings, right? You know, we say B-, C+, and I don't want people to think. Yeah, I don't want people to think that. You know, I'm ragging on the movie by saying it's C+. I definitely think you should still watch it. Do I think you should pay full price for this? No. We saw it at a matinee. Mm-hmm. Is it matinee worthy? Yeah, I think $5 for this movie is. I mean, fair compensation.
I buy every movie, so I'm gonna buy it and put it in the collection with all the other 5. But
for those people that don't buy every movie, I think you could matinee.
Yeah. You can definitely
don't pay $10
or Netflix and chill kind of film.
Yeah, or if it comes out on streaming and you can stream it, go ahead and do that.
It is what it is.
But I don't pay full price.
But there it is. That's our rating for Scream. This is episode 100. We've come a long way. There are no more episodes of Filmatic. We are just going to go live from here on out. This was a hell of a day, to try and get all of these cameras set up to be here for you guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please. We need it. And I can't thank you enough for everybody that has done it up to this point. We have a lot of new things coming on every show, on every channel, but Film Addict is about to evolve. We are going to be live on every movie that we can possibly review. We have new everything coming forward to you guys. New ideas, new endings, beginnings, everything. So there it is. You got anything else to say to end this off?
100 guys. We want to thank you guys so much for being with us. 100 episodes, keeping us going. The people that we're adding on, if you could please share this video with your friends. If you found something entertaining, or you found something me or Michael said insightful, doubt you found something Michael said insightful.
Go fuck yourself. I mean, it is what it is. Can I say that on any of these other things? Am I gonna get flagged on Instagram? Go fuck yourself. All right.
If you do, please share this with your friends. Like it. Get your friends to subscribe. Bring them over here.
Mm-hmm. And then get their friends and bring them over here.
Yeah. So just thank you guys for that. So excited. Glad to be on episode 100. We're glad to be on before.
And this has been another exciting episode of Film Addict.